Hi everyone, my name is Emma and I'm a Visitor Experience Assistant here at Guelph Museums. Thanks so much for joining us for this week's Closer Look video. This is a weekly video series where we take a really quick look at one image in the Guelph Museum's collection. Before you watch this video though, make sure you've done the online puzzle so you can also take a really close look at the image that we're going to be talking about today. So today we're looking at the image that you can see on the screen. What are the first impressions that you get when you look at this image? Take a second to look really closely at the picture and think about what it shows. What does it make you think about? What do you think is happening in this image? When we look at images in the museum, one of the things we always want to know is when it's from. Do you see any clues that might tell us when this picture was taken? Let's look at the different parts of this picture. What are the first things you see when you look at it? The first things I noticed were the covered wagon and the log cabin. So what do you think? Are those modern or old things in this picture? They look pretty old to me. They make me think of the European settlers who arrived in this area about 200 years ago. So that definitely makes it seem like this picture is old. But wait, this might be a trick picture. When we look a little more closely, there are some clues that start to make me think that this might be a little bit newer than it looks at first. Can you find any of them? Here are some of the clues that I found. Take a look at the three people in the picture. What do you think of when you think of people who lived in settler times? Do they look like these people or a little bit different? I always like to look at the clothing that people are wearing, and it seems pretty new to me, especially the person in the middle. The person in the middle is a woman, and she's wearing pants. Back in settler times, women didn't normally wear pants, so it seems like this is maybe not quite as old as it looks. Another clue is the buildings in the background. These are big, tall buildings with giant windows. Do you think these kinds of buildings existed when people were building log cabins? People probably wouldn't be living in log cabins with little tiny windows if they could build big buildings like this. So those are a couple clues to tell us that this is not a picture from settler times. But when is this picture from? Well, it's a little bit hard to see here, but there's actually some writing on the log cabin that gives us a really good hint. The writing says, Conestoga College, Guelph Campus. The Guelph campus of Conestoga College was started in the year 1970, so we know that this picture is no older than that. But why would they have a covered wagon and log cabin in downtown Guelph in the 1970s? Well, at the museum, we have some extra information, so we know that this was part of a celebration in the year 1977. 1977 was Guelph's sesquicentennial celebration. Can you guess what that means? It means that Guelph was turning 150. So now it makes sense why people from the 1970s would be standing next to super old looking things from 150 years earlier. Thanks for joining us today for this very mysterious trick picture. There were a couple other clues we could have used to figure out if this was a new picture or an old one. Did you find any of them? If you do, we would love to hear from you. Let us know by email or on social media. So that's it for today. Thanks for joining us today, and don't forget to join us again next week for another Closer Look puzzle and discussion.